everybody, welcome back. Junior College Hard 90. It's Zach McKinstry and Noah Sharp. It's the best time of year, postseason baseball. Every game matters, and can't wait to get into it with Noah Sharp, the host of the JBB. Noah, what's going on?
Man, it has been a crazy, probably like week finishing up the end of regular season stuff, straight into the postseason stuff, and then some postseason stuff has happened, and then we have tournaments, and it's like March Madness times like a billion because there's so many more games and so much stuff has already happened and so much more stuff is going to happen that I don't think there's enough time really. I think on my show last night when I did it, I thought I would hit about 20 minutes on every single division. Yeah, no, I spent like an hour and then was like, I have to cut it somewhere. So those other ones are going to come eventually. But man, it is the best time of year. The games are so awesome. There's already been chaos, as we've said last week, and it's only going to get more epic and more competitive and better and awesome. So I'm ready to dive in when you are, sir.
Yeah, regional time, at this point nearly district time. So let's dive through each of the 10 districts in D1 to start and give a status report of what's going on. We start in the Appalachin district. Region 7, everyone kind of expected Walter State to cruise through, but Southwest Tennessee gave them fits. The Senators needed a ninth inning comeback to send it to extras, and then they walked it off in the 10th, and it's looking like there could be a rematch in the championship between those two, but Tennessee has been really competitive.
Tennessee was one. So how they did it this year, because they added Mississippi State, they added an extra play-in game. So you had 3 play-in games, winner take all, you get in, and then however those seeds go, lowest seed goes to the 1, next to the 2, next to the 3. Well, in those play-in games, other than Dyersburg State, all the lower seeds won those. And then you go to the first round, Rowan State won their game in an upset. And then, oh gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head the other one, but they basically every other than the one that played Walter State that took them to the end, they all won. And then I think Cleveland State was the other one, and they're playing Walter State today, I believe. But it's just it's crazy. And to say Tennessee is a lower state by any means is kind of bananas, because it is competitive, especially this year. It is deeper than ever, from top to bottom, especially with Mississippi State coming out of nowhere this year. So I don't know how it's going to end up. And I know whoever's coming out of Tennessee is going to be very, very battle tested, and Georgia better be ready for whoever comes out of there.
Yeah, good segue. They'll play the winner of Region 17, so it's Georgia Highlands and Andrew College in the winner's bracket right now, and I would expect one of those two teams to go through Region 17. Let's move to the East. Already been decided in Region 10. Flodar gets it done. They take down Gaston College again in Lexington, and now the Stingers are 2 wins away from Grand Junction. And as expected, they will play Hartford, who stays hot. They get it done, beating Potomac State and sweeping Monroe to get to the East District Championship against Flodar. So it will be Hartford or Florence Darlington that will be going to Grand Junction out of the East District.
This is one where, like I've said the last couple of weeks, Hartford always kind of gets overlooked because they don't always play the toughest schedule. There is always the case for Flodar, because they play a really tough beginning of the schedule, and then kind of they get into region play, they get into conference play, and it kind of dies off on how competitive it is. But they do what they need to do. They've swept Gaston, I think, the entire year. Maybe they've dropped one game to them. Hartford can swing it. Both these two teams, for me, I have them in the top 10 right now. But this is going to be, I could see there being just fireworks all over. Both these teams have been to Grand Junction in the last couple of years. I believe it was 2 years ago. Flodar finished, I think, 3rd or 4th. So they've been right on the cusp there. These are two teams that know how to play at this time of year. They're a bit younger, but I mean, either one of these teams, way they play fits Grand Junction, fits the big fly ball, fits just how you got to play that game there, which is that's a conversation for when we get to the actual field. But certain teams play way better there just because they hit the long ball. It's Colorado, it's elevation. That's what happens. But I mean, both these two schools, an L or a B, like, it'll be great to see both of them get there. But yeah, I'm excited to see this one unfold.
Yeah, we've talked about some of the Stingers' top players this year. We talked a couple episodes about how the Fighting Owls were on a fire win streak, went on a long run there. So that series is going to be really exciting, especially with Grand Junction on the line. Let's move to the Mid-South, Region 14. In the North, the favorite is Bossier Parish. They will play Alvin, and Sanjack gets Tyler. And then in the South, it is Blinn as the favorite, which was to be expected. They'll play Paris, Junior College, and then Northeast gets Wharton. And that's Region 14. Any comments there?
This is one where really, it kind of ended up, the South ended up how I think a lot of people thought it would be. Blinn at the 1, Sanjak at the 2, Wharton at the 3. It ended up coming down to that 4 seed, not as intense as how Region 5 was, but Galveston was in that 4 spot for forever. They lost like 13 or 14 down the stretch, which that's unfortunate to let Alvin in. But really, even though Bossier is that favorite there, or the 1 seed per se, or not per se, they are the 1 seed. But I would say Sanjak, just how they've played down the stretch, I could see it being another Blinn Sanjak series for that bid. I like how they do that. This is kind of 2 regionals into a super regional-esque thing, best 2 out of 3 next week. But I would expect it to be back in Blinn or back at Brenham. I mean, as of right now, I don't see why, or the path for Blinn to repeat is still very wide open. Or it is, could happen.
Giving Bossier Parish some bulletin board material. Love it. Let's move to the Midwest District. Region 4, South Suburban, the favorite, playing Olive Harvey as we record this. They will play the winner of Region 11, Iowa Western against Indian Hills. That winner takes on the winner of Region 4 next Wednesday. And then Region 24, John A. Logan closed the season winning 15 of 16 games. They get Olney Central to start the Region 24 tournament tomorrow.
So the Region 4 one, really, it's going to be, I mean, South Suburban's been killing it. McHenry's another one. They made that jump from Division 2 a couple years back, and they've really kind of just hit the ground running there. So, I mean, it's going to come down to one of those 2 teams. I think, unfortunately, both, wow, words are hard sometimes. Olive Harvey and Triton both only have like 15 wins on the year, but there's only 4 Division 1 teams in Region 4. So it's everyone gets in. And hey, a team could get hot. It's happened before. Iowa Western, Indian Hills, those 2 always play each other really tough. And then John A. Logan, they've been killing it. They have been on the cusp of just being one of the top teams in the country year in and year out for a long time, ever since I've been covering it. And they've fallen just short this year in Region 24. I hate how their bracket shaped up because they have a really, really good Lakeland team on their side of the bracket. I mean, Wabash Valley has Southwestern Illinois and the one there. I could see, I mean, really, it's going to come down to the 1-2 on both sides, but I would really like to see it end up being like a Southwestern Illinois, a John A., and then Iowa Western and whoever comes out of Region 4. It's going to be a great double elimination deal next week when they all get together. But it's going to be, I mean, this is always year in and out, year out, one of those regions or districts where if there was an at-large bid, you wouldn't be surprised if the runner-up was that pick for the at-large bid here.
Yeah, lots of talent, still a lot to be determined in that district. Let's move to the Plains. I want to get your take on this. It's been this way for a while, but Region 6, 16-team tournament. What does that do for burnout? You got teams that are playing so many games in so many days. I think it runs from May 7th to the 9th and then picks up the 10th to the 17th to decide that Plains District champion. And then Barton, the number 1 seed going into it. So
this tournament, I always say Region 23. I always say I love it. They changed it. I love their new change even better. But Region 6, it is pretty traditional, just best 2 out of 3. Now it's double elimination time. These guys play tons of games during the regular season, and how they end up doing it is you take the top 8 from each side, flip them, and so the 1 from the east plays the 2 or the 8 from the west. So I think Barton's the one on one side, Johnson County's the one on the other side, and then you whittle it down until you get to 1. But it's anything can happen. I mean, when Barton won the region back in, I believe it was 2019, they weren't the 1 on their side. They were like the 7 or 8, and they just went on a run. So like, this is a true anything can happen. You basically have to play perfect baseball for a month just to get to the World Series for them. But then you have to then play perfect baseball to win a national title. Johnson County has been killing it. I mean, 3 straight regional titles. Some lower matchups that I really like there. Dodge City and Kansas City, Kansas, a 12 versus 5, have played each other really well all year when they have played. Cali versus Seward. Seward is lower, but like they've played great down the stretch. Barton with Neosho. I mean, it really, when you get to those middle matchups, the middle seeds, I guess, like anything can happen. I mean, anything can happen, period. But just, it's a lot of baseball in a 2.5 week span. And it's been this way for forever. So it's not like this is a new thing. It's just awesome when people finally discover it and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is how it's been. So buckle up, because it's just chaos and epic. It's legit. So I'm really excited to see how it is. I would say it's a Johnson County Barton kind of probably the favorites. Cali's been there a bunch of times. Hutchinson fell just short last year. Cloud been eyeing to try and get that big jump. But it's going to be a lot of fun to see who comes out of this opening round and who makes it. I believe that they play at Wichita State's field every year. So who makes it to Wichita for them? That 18 tournament next week is going to be a lot of fun to watch unfold.
Yeah, that hot, cold, hot theory really comes into play when you got a tournament like that. If you can get going down the stretch, anything happens in that long tournament in a couple of weeks, and anyone can get in and out of the Plains District. So let's move to the South. That's Region 22 and Region 23. In 22, it's Wallace State against Northwest Shoals, and then Chattahoochee Valley against Coastal Alabama South. And in Region 23, LSU Eunice heard the noise. They saw the drop in the NJCAA poll last week, and they responded by cruising through the Region 23 tournament and demolishing Delgado by 15 runs to leave no doubt that they're the real deal. So can Alabama compete with LSU Eunice?
I mean, that has been LSU Eunice's kind of, I guess, downfall this year. Not that they've been bad. I mean, they have, 3 losses on the year. But when you look at their record or look at their schedule, they don't play the toughest, but they've done against these teams what you would expect. They're the defending Division II champs, so they're going to be a good team. If anyone can do it, I think the top dog in Alabama this year is Shelton State. They've been there, they've done that. They've played a really quiet season. I think they've been top 10 for y'all a couple times. I've had them up and down for me, but Shelton State is probably that favorite to come out of Alabama, unless somehow they've lost. But I think there's 5 teams there and they got the bye. So, but I think it's going to be probably LSU Eunice's to lose. But at the same time, anything can happen, and I think Alabama's hosting it too. But it's going to be a lot of fun to see. And I ended up watching that Delgado game, and there ended up being a lightning delay, like an hour-long lightning delay in the 8th inning. So they just sat there and then came out and finished it. It was an awesome game, but I mean, it was all gas, no brakes for LSU Eunice that whole game. So if they can get to Grand Junction and they can go back-to-back champs in 2 different divisions, I don't think that's ever been done. So that's a little bit of another history watch to kind of see if it can unfold.
Yeah, Jeff Willis, again, has done a phenomenal job. South Atlantic District, we got Region 8, Florida, and boy, has Florida been crazy. Like some of these other regions. State College of Florida delivered the shock of the week, though. They beat and eliminated Northwest Florida State. They advanced to play Florida Southwestern State, while Central Florida gets Gulf Coast State. But madness in the Panhandle and the rest of Florida right now.
Man, that State College series was awesome because they were actually our team of the week this past week for the Division I side, and both those games, they jumped out early in the first and then kind of struggled in the middle, but never really gave up the lead. And then when, push came to shove, they pushed through it and did what you had to do. I mean, I think it was Luke Boykin at 3 home runs, hit 400 on the week. Like, dude was killing it. I think he was a first team all Citrus Conference player. Might have been the player of the year. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's going to be great baseball regardless of who ends up coming out of Florida. This is another one where if 2 of these teams were to make it to Grand Junction in an at-large bid scenario, you would not be surprised. Florida Southwestern's been top 10 a lot of the year. State College Florida has been up there in the rankings. Central Florida's obviously been there, done that. Gulf Coast State's been top 10, top 15 all year. Played a really, really tough schedule to begin the year. But it's just whoever comes out of Florida is going to be battle tested as always. And then when they get to those Rocky Mountains, it's going to be just time to let the ball fly.
Yeah, and that's just another testament to Grand Junction that it's probably the most difficult tournament to get to at any level of college sports. You only get 10 teams out of all of these regions. So let's move on. Central District, South Central rather. It's Region 2. Seminole State hosts starting today. The conference standings have been close all year in Oklahoma, but it's Seminole State, the 1 seed. NEO and Eastern Oklahoma State are right behind them. And then in Region 16, it's Missouri. Their sub-regionals are over. It's State Fair, Crowder, St. Charles, and Mineral Area, the 4 teams out of Region 16.
So Oklahoma, we've talked a lot of Oklahoma this year about the Division II side. The Division I side's been good. It's just been not as, I guess, interesting or as fun or as dynamic as the Division II side. I mean, Seminole State is a tried and true power. It's kind of crazy when I was looking at the stuff last night. Connor State's the 3, Connor State's the 4, Eastern Oklahoma's the 3. I'm blanking on the other one for some reason right now. Western Eastern Oklahoma A&M or whatever, NEO. There we go. I got there. I got my directions down eventually, but I mean, it's going to be a good tournament. Rose State, I wouldn't be surprised if they stole some games. They're not usually the team that you think could steal them, but honestly, it's probably going to be a Seminole State or a Connor State, just teams that have been there and done that. Coming out of Oklahoma, I'm really excited to see this Region 16 though. I couldn't find it last night who the Final Four were, but Crowder been there, done that. They've been just short of a national title. Mineral Area, I believe they finished 22-0 in conference play, so they've been killing it. The one that I want to watch out, State Fair is not your traditional team to come out of Missouri. Down this last back half of the season, walk-off wins, big important wins when they needed it. Guys have been hitting and playing great. That's a team that could surprise some people, and wouldn't be surprised if they did and made some noise. If they won Region 16, it would be a shock to a lot of people, but just looking how they've played down this back half, it's been a lot of fun just to see them kind of finally get stuff gelled, because they've been so close for so long, really getting the team doing what they want to do, and seeing it kind of finally happening is a lot of fun to see.
Moving on, we got the Southwest District. Region 5 has been chaos, as we mentioned, all year long. El Paso gets Weatherford in the opening round. It's New Mexico against Grayson, McLennan against Midland, and Cisco against Odessa. And I don't think anybody knows what'll happen in Region 5 the next week.
Man, I've talked to a lot of the coaches in this region this past week. New Mexico's not happy that their season ended the way they did, so I would not want to be Grayson. El Paso, they're happy they got in, but also Weatherford's like, dude, we get the 4 seed, but we're getting this 35-18 team that can kill the ball. And then you have McLennan and Midland, who have played together a bunch of times this year. And then really the only true 4 seed, 1 seed is Odessa versus Cisco. But Cisco, basically like El Paso, been super hot. They won 20-something games out of like the last 25 or something to even get to the regional. So there's a lot of stuff I could see happening. I love how it's 2-3 game series, or a best 2 out of 3 at all the hosts. And then, hey, next weekend, double elimination. I think that's a great way to do it. I don't know who's going to come out of it. To say Odessa's the favorite is like crazy, but you could say Midland's the favorite because they're the lower seed and they kind of have a little bit easier path to get there. But then it's whoever comes, again, just like Florida, just like Kansas, whoever comes out of this is going to be battle tested. And it just shows, again, to get to Grand Junction, you literally have to play perfect baseball for a month before you even get to the national tournament. And some of these teams like El Paso have already been having to play perfect baseball for the last month and a half. And now, hey, let's just keep the foot on the gas. You're not going to let up. They've been playing under the pressure. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see who comes out and who these Final Four are out of Region 5.
Yeah, I'd be on the lookout for upsets in that region for sure. Let's move and wrap up with the West District. Region 1, Central Arizona had a couple of really tight matchups against Cochise, but they took 2 of 3, and Southern Nevada needed a decisive third game to beat Yavapai. So it will be CSN and Central Arizona in a 3-game set starting today. Winner of that one will get the winner of Region 9, which is just getting started. Northeastern with the bye. It's McCook and Otero, and Lamar against Western Nebraska in Pueblo, Colorado. And then lastly, in Region 18, it's Salt Lake that advances to the championship series, and they will play Utah State Eastern. So what do you got out of that West District?
So this one's always fun because how they do it is it rotates every year. So there's 3 regions that go, and it's a double elimination 4-team tournament. And how they decide who that 4th team is whoever the host is. This year, the host is Region 18. So both Salt Lake and Utah Eastern, both are already in the district tournament technically. It's just who's going to be the one, who's going to be the 4 seed in that. Which Salt Lake been to Grand Junction in the last couple of years. They've won 18. They've won the district. This is the first time Utah State Eastern has ever actually made it to the district tournament. So that's kind of a cool little thing for them. For Central Arizona and Southern Nevada, these are the top 2 basically. I didn't see Central Arizona here at the beginning of the year. They've turned it on. They've been great. Central Arizona has been on fire all year. This, again, I could see it being 3 very, very tight games, or I could see it being 3 blowouts. That's how those 2 have played each other all year. And then in Region 9, I mean, it's been up and down all year. Southeastern really been good. They stumbled out the gates. They kind of fell, but then they've won it 3 straight years. So Southeastern is kind of the favorite there. They're the 1 seed, obviously, but it's just whoever's going to come out of there. It's probably going to come down to whoever wins Region 1 and whoever wins 18 really is going to be the 2 favorites once you get to that West District tournament next week.
Yep, let's dive into D2. Won't be as extensive running out of time here, but Region 1 in D2. Another one we saw coming, best of 3 between Pima and South Mountain for a spot in the district final. And that's got to be one of the best matchups in D2 coming up.
I mean, I think they are a perfect 3-for-3 going into that final game of the season. And Pima took it, and they took it. So these teams have played each other. They have played D1 together last year. I believe they were the last two Division 1 last year too. So it's like they've been there, done that. This is going to be a great series. And then whoever comes out of Oklahoma, this is going to be, I could see the at-large bid or one of the two ones coming from here. I could see it coming from Mississippi. I could see it coming from the Northeast right now. Like it's these two at-large bids for the Division 2 level are so awesome to see, because one of these two teams really could still, their season might be over, but they could still get in just on that at-large bid. And right now, I mean, at the Oklahoma side, Tonka was the 1 seed on one side, and I believe it's, gosh, I don't even know the Missouri side of that region that well, but I'd say it's a Tonk or an Enid that really is going to be the top 2 teams there. But I know Tonk has been offensively one of the best teams in the country, so whoever ends up facing for this West District title is going to be it's going to be a great series to watch.
Yeah, I think you got National Park in the mix there as well. I know you wanted to talk about Region 4 a little bit for the D2 slate. So what do you got on Region 4?
Region 4, how they do it is one of those ones where I really like it. They basically break down 3 or 4 3-team pools, double elimination, and then the winners of those ones end up going to a double elimination bracket style play. And it's just, I mean, you've got Madison hosting Bryant and Highlands. You have Kankakee hosting Harper and Prairie State. Elgin hosting Milwaukee Area Tech and Moraine Valley. And then Blackhawk hosting Rock Valley and Morton. Really, it's the top seeds are the kind of the favorites there. But when you get to like the 3-6-10 weekend or group, and then the 4-5-9, that's where stuff kind of gets shaken up. I mean, Harper is the 7, but they've kind of had some struggles. But it's going to be a lot of fun just to see who comes out of there, because every year there seems to be a team that sneaks through and kind of surprises some people. But it's going to be a lot of fun to watch how that one all unfolds and just how they kind of set that regional tournament up.
Yep, let's move to the South District. Really looking forward to Pasco Hernando State and Wallace Dothan. That should be an absolute battle. And yeah, you talk about battle tested and ready for Enid. That series should determine a lot for which team gets ready for Enid.
Man, this is one, Pasco Hernando State. I've said it on this show. I've said it on mine. They might be the best team out of Florida, and it doesn't, and I'm not even like ashamed to say that. They can pitch it, they can hit it, they can do it both ways. They've played the small ball, they've played the big ball, they've shut you out. Like, it's just, they know how to play. Wallace Dothan is a younger team. I had a lot of hope for them at the beginning of the year. They kind of struggled, but then that's a team where struggled it early. They figured it out, and now they're here. It's Pasco Hernandez to lose, but I could see this going all 3 games, and then whoever gets there. I don't know if Wallace Dothan pulls it off. I could see this would be if you were playing the bracketology like the Division 1 does, where you have those at large bids where there's more. This would be one if Wallace Dothan wins it. Pasco Hernando State basically is stealing it at large bid right there, or at least that's how I would see it, just because of how they've been in the polls all year. So basically, Wallace Dothan could shock the world, pull it off, and then Pasco Hernando State sitting there basically waiting for the committee to see where they're going to fall.
Right. Let's move on to D3. A couple of storylines in the D3. RCSJ Gloucester, perfect 30-0 in Region 19 as that tournament gets set to get going. SUNY Niagara has Region 3 sub-regionals this weekend against SUNY Broome. Eastfield is DAC champs again. They play Brookhaven this weekend. Joliet, the number 1 seed in Region 4, that starts today. Region 10 will be interesting with Caldwell as the top seed and Camp and Surrey behind them, and they will play each other on Friday. So what are your biggest stories out of D3?
So D3, I mean, Region 5 is going to be Region 5. I don't think it's super, I don't think the seeding's set yet. I know Eastfield won it, but it's just where seeds are going to fall. Let me see. Hold on. Region 19's tournament. I got sent this bracket last night, and this is probably the one tournament that is going to be wild. So you have Gloucester, obviously, is the one, right? They're 30-0. They're playing 8 in Montgomery, Pennsylvania. Then you have Brookdale hosting Northampton, who have played each other really, really well all year. Then the 3-6 is where things get fun. You have Camden, who's been up and down all year, versus Cumberland's. That was a series we touched on a couple weeks ago. Camden's been hot ever since. Cumberland's they struggled down the stretch with that series against Gloucester last weekend, and then the 4-5 in Salem and Middlesex. I mean, those 6 teams really, the separation is not as big as most years. I know when it came down to seeding, I think the 3, 4, 5, 6 all split with each other. So like they had a perfect like split when it came down to the records, and the records were all the same, and they had to go to like the 3rd, 4th, 5th tiebreakers to decide who was going to be where. But that Cumberland's Camden match is going to be really fun to watch this weekend. SUNY, I mean, they're really, really close. I mean, they had a perfect season. So regular season wise, they had a perfect season. I'll hit on that on the hard 90. But like, I'm really excited to see how this postseason goes for them. They've handled Broome. I think they threw a perfect game against Broome earlier in the year too. So it's like, it's set up right now for region for them. But then that region 3 tournament with Herc, Hudson Valley, Finger Lakes, like it's just going to be, again, chaos, bloodbath. Like that's one for the Division 3 ones where usually 19's the one that you're going to think is going to get that at-large bid. But this year, I think it could be Region 3. And then you got Minnesota, which is crazy, with Anoka Ramsey, with Alexandria Tech, who came on hot, with St. Cloud Tech, and then with Century. Century, the last 2 weeks have been crushing baseball. They've had guys hit 5 home runs back-to-back weeks. I'd say it's probably Century's to lose. I've been really high on them all year, but it's just their tournament's another one. 2 double elimination style brackets to get to the final one, and then it's the best 2 or 3 of those final and they all do it at one complex, which is really cool. But yeah, it's Division 3 is where stuff gets a lot of fun. It's upsetting again that there's only 1 at-large bid here instead of 2. I think there used to be 2. But it's going to be a lot of fun just to see how some of these teams end up shaping up and get going. And if Niagara can continue this perfect season, I hope they do. It'd be awesome to see, but also it'd be awesome to see a 3-peat. So, but now is where things matter, where all that can be decided.
All right, well, that wraps up our full regional preview and recap. A little combo for that one. And next week, we'll have a lot more determined as we continue in playoff baseball. Let's step aside for a sec. When we come back, we wrap up with our hard 90. Noah with 90 seconds to talk NJCAA baseball. We're back in a moment on the Junior College Hard 90.
For the last 87 years, the NJCAA has provided academic and athletic opportunities to thousands of student athletes. However, several rules make it more challenging for 2-year college transfers. Recently, 16 national coaches associations, led by the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association, sent a request for change to NCAA leadership to make the rules the same for all transfers. We commend their leadership and stand together in support of same game, same rules.
Good morning.
Why so serious?
Great shot.
Car was 250. You got it.
Greenside bunker, land short. Trust your line.
There's plenty of green.
Brakes towards the water.
Lots of coaching today, huh?
We're one up.
When you strive to be the best, you need the right insights. Zurich has insurance solutions and risk strategies to help prepare your business for tomorrow.
We're back, Junior College Hard 90. It's Noah Sharp, and he's got 90 seconds, minute and a half to talk about any specific team, player, coach, rule, whatever he wants in NJCAA baseball. Noah Sharp, 90 seconds, starts now.
Okay, so we hinted at it a minute ago, but SUNY Niagara, perfect season. I believe it is the first perfect season since 2009. That is the Howard team. They went 52-0 in the regular season, 63-1, 57-game win streak. SUNY Niagara is currently at 44. They got postseason. They got a lot of stuff to go. They are, I believe, the 3rd team ever to actually have a perfect regular season. 1 being Howard, 2 being them, and then 3 being LSU Shreveport, who's I believe at 52 games in a row right now. So like, this Howard record, no one ever thought would get touched, and we're on the cusp of it with 2 different teams in the same year, which is wild. And then the only other thing I really have is a 32-year-old national record for the NJCAA was broken this past week. The Division 3 stolen bases in a single season was broken by Dom Vigiano over at Suffolk County. I say it's a really old record. That sucks because it's in 1993. That's a year after I was born. So like that makes me feel very, very old. but it was broken by Brad Gray here in Dallas at Dallas Richland. But again, 76 bases in, I think it was like 45 games, which is ridiculous. He also hit his 100th career win this past week, or not win, 100th career hit this past week, which is also a crazy milestone to hit. But also go give their Instagram some love. It has become like my new guilty pleasure Instagram for teams. They have a pitcher by the name of Anthony Alberti. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Who's an electric factory, who does all these interviews, and they're hilarious. And it's just, he actually got in and pitched a game, and then they flipped it on him, and it was awesome. But stuff like that just makes college baseball awesome when you got guys with personalities and obviously pitchers that do it. And it's just, again, we're at that time of year. I said this was going to be shorter, and now me ranting and two things have turned into like probably 2 minutes now. But man, it's awesome to see records get broken, records get close to being broken, perfect seasons. I mean, this is where the season gets fun. We've said it this whole episode, we've said it the last couple, but this is where things get fun. It's the postseason. Now things matter. Let's have some fun. Let's get to Auburn. Let's get to Enid. Let's get to Grand Junction. Let's just have a whole bunch of fun and win some national titles.
Man, gotta love mid-May as we get ready for the championships coming up down the stretch. I'll be out in Grand Junction, really excited for that at the D1 JUCO World Series. But we got more shows for you before then. Next week we'll be back. We'll talk about those regional matchups as we get ready for those district finals and a lot more NJCAA baseball on the way. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Zach McKinstry, Noah Sharp. Give us a follow on social media, and we will see you back here next Thursday on Junior College Hard 90.